Hey, what's going on, everybody? Freaks here once again, and I'm bringing you another game from the Hive Mind Summer Tournament Bronze and Silver League. And there's a little bit of a delayed start right there. Not sure why. It took a while to get those. Yeah, that's gonna put him at a huge disadvantage. You know, delaying those SCVs for what, like 10 seconds right there? I'm actually joking. Shouldn't be much of a problem. But yeah, here on ESV Cornhole Compound, we've got the Purple Terran Headshot there in the top right. And near the bottom left, we've got SBKillerDram, who I'm going to refer to as Dram, because that's too long, and I don't feel like saying that entire name here in the bottom left. What in the... Is he 6 pulling? Or something along those lines? What? That's a super early pool. I don't know if he's 7 pooled. Possibly. Maybe he's 7 pooled because... I guess I didn't catch that in time. But anyway, we're clearly going to be seeing some kind of super early pressure here from Dram. Or not. He's making an evolution chamber. I'm not quite sure what he's planning on doing right now. With a pool that early, you'd think he'd go straight for those lings. And it looks like that's exactly what he's doing. He's making 6 lings at 2 minutes and 10 seconds in the game. And I'm fairly confident that this barracks is going to be finished and this wall is going to be completed by the time they can get over there, if that's where they're headed. They're rallied up here to the front. Let's see what he does with them. They just finished, and he's going to send them out there to scout. What's he going to do with them? They're just going to sit there. Oh, he's got them selected. Alright. What are you doing with them, JJ? Dram. I suppose he's not going to... Oh, there he goes. Okay. Alright. And looks like they're just going to head right over here to the enemy base here of Headshot. His wall is going to be finished because his barracks is just about done. And right after that, he's going to be able to place his supply depot down. And these lings are not going to be able to get into the base. But they are... And... Trust me, I know this feeling. They are going to put a little bit of a scare into Headshot if they can just start beating away at these supply depots when he's only got 1 Marine out. But it will take a little bit to kill all of these lings, even if it is 1 Marine. And it's going to start hitting away at them. I wonder if he's going to pull anything to repair. He honestly doesn't. Yep, he's got 1 SCV repairing. It's kind of silly to leave these Zerglings here just wailing away at the supply depot. He lost 2 of them. That's 50 minerals of supply. I don't think Headshot has spent that much minerals preparing that supply depot. With all of these, yep, 4 more die, and there's only 1 left. So that was kind of a failed early pool there. It's going to put Dram at a little bit of a behind because Headshot was able to easily hold that off, and obviously has well, I was going to say that he had a macro lead because he was able to hold off that pool, but he didn't. It wasn't a total 6 pool. The one thing he does have advantage over his opponent is the worker count, and he does have more of a gas income because we see the extractor for Dram is not quite finished yet. But it is going to finish here pretty soon. We do see that Headshot has just put that second barracks down, and if you watch his other replays, I really don't know if he's going to be changing it up at all, because this looks very similar to what he had been doing before. He gets these, excuse me, both of these refineries out, and that's so he has enough gas to build his factory, build his starport, and then continue with medevac production right after that, so we can just go for some drops. But although he could make drops, we do see that Dram does have decent vision with all these overlords. He's got them nearly all over this place, completely surrounding his base. If there are any medevacs that are going to try and come through this area, he's going to see them and he's going to know it's coming, so he can probably be very prepared for it. We do see that factory coming down right after that barracks finishes, so I honestly think that we're going to see a very similar playstyle to what he had been doing before. And I'm sure before watching this game, some of you have seen my cast of Headshot versus Elusive Shark, yeah, the Protoss player, where both games he simply won through a drop timing. 2 barracks, 1 factory, gets a starport. As soon as those 2 Medevacs come out. He fills them up with Marines and Marauders and goes and drops, and it wins games for him. Very effective, especially if the opponent does not see it coming. Their mineral line just gets devastated, and really that just wins the game right there when you kill their income. Especially if their macro is a little bit behind. I cannot remember what league for 1v1 Dram is. I was going to mention something about the league, so I know a headshot is silver. So I was going to mention that macro won't always be perfect, and now we see that factory does lift off to make room for that starport to land on that reactor. And that factory will probably not be used for the rest of the game. So, 2 medevacs in production, and as soon as those are done, he's going to load it up and drop. And I've not watched this replay beforehand, so this is just talking from experience, knowing of how Headshot plays, and of having casted his previous replays. I'm fairly confident that that's what's going to happen. And I can even make a bet with you guys that he will skip his natural and expand somewhere else on the map. He does it a lot. He makes his command center, loads it up with 5 SCVs, and then just floats off somewhere. So, yep, here we see these medevacs are being loaded up, and they're going to move out here soon, and he's going to go for the drop. Dram, while he does have 2 spore crawlers, maybe he watched his other replays and he knows that this might be coming, so he just could possibly be in a good position here if he's able to catch the medevacs off guard, unless he decides to drop them around here, but the spore crawlers are out of range. But he only has 4 roaches and a handful of zerglings, so if he doesn't get this around on as they are dropping, if he allows all of these units to drop before engaging them, it might be GG. It might spell the end of the game for Dram if he lets that happen. But he is going to see this coming. As soon as these medevacs get in range of this Overlord, he will know that that drop is on its way. And it's like he heard me, because here he is making more spore crawlers, so he won't be able to drop just anywhere. But they don't, well, I don't know if they're going to finish in time. They're headed over there, and they are just about, oh, he's deciding to, he sees him, the drop is there. He needs to engage. What is he doing? Oh, no, he should have engaged him as soon as they drop. Oh, no, that is not good. He prepared for the drop. Both medevacs are down, but he doesn't have the wings and roaches to counter these units. This is not good, Dram. This is not good at all. Got it injected. But meanwhile, he's going to try and get some spines up, but meanwhile his opponent is just able to, stockpile all these resources and go for a big push later on. This is very, very annoying for Dram. Could spell GG if he doesn't clean it up here soon. 8 lanes in production, that could help him out a lot. That roach den is going it's going down. He lost a lot of drones there. He's going to try and save them, but I don't know how effective it's going to be. The Lings are just finishing. They're going to be able to get us around easily on these units, and they are successfully cleaning up that drop. But as we did see the game 1 between the Elusive Shark and Headshot, there was a big old drop in Headshot's mineral line, and once he killed off that mineral line, it just spelled doom for the rest of the game. He tried to recuperate, but he just wasn't able to do it. If we look back at Headshot's base, I called it. He loads up the command center and lands it right there when he could simply just drop his supply depot and run him out there. I don't fully understand that, but as we could see, that drop was not all of his military. He's got a decent amount of Marines and Marauders there. Obviously he's expanded, so he's ahead of the game macro-wise. We don't see any expansion here from Dram. Just simply trying to get back his drone count, which is going to be very tough. I'm surprised he also kept that roach war. That would be a further investment, having to rebuild that, though I wouldn't exactly recommend it, because tanks and Marauders are, well, not very easy to deal with roaches. Sieged up the tank there just for a little extra security. Not that he actually needs it, but just to make him feel a little bit safer. Making that into a planetary, I'm not sure I agree with that. Doesn't actually need that to be a planetary. Now a third, possibly a fourth, probably. But the natural, and you've got a good enough semi-choke deal here that you don't actually need that to be a planetary. It's preferable to have that at orbital command for some more mules. Mules are not OP. I will stand by that forever. Mules are not OP. Holy barracks, Batman. Looks like I'm just going to start pumping out some bio units. What, he's got a couple tanks. So, okay, maybe I was wrong. This factory did get used. But this is not a game breaker. Okay, this is, or game maker, whatever you want to call it. These two tanks, I don't think they're going to make a difference. But, does he have an engineering bay? Oh, he's working on his upgrades. That's good. He's getting infantry armor level 1, and he's already got weapons level 2, so pretty soon here he's going to be on 1-1 upgrades. Meanwhile, Dram is still trying to get that drone count back up. No military units, no army, absolutely nothing. No spines, and if he pushes right now, it's just going to be very, very bad news, because if you look at that, Marines, Marauders, and tanks and medevacs. And what do we got here? We got almost absolutely nothing. Just a Queen and some Sport Crawlers and drones. So, I mean, it's a good idea to get that natural. Could probably, you know, if he plays well enough, could probably help him get his macro back on track. But if he pushes anytime soon, if Headshot moves out anytime soon, it's just not going to work out at all. If he decides, however, to just let his opponent, you know, stay back and macro up while he does that himself to keep his lead, who knows, he could make a comeback. But at this point, I think it's looking very grim for our Zerg player down here. Ooh, I like that inject. Keeping up on the injects. You see very low energy on that Queen. Means that he's staying on his injects. Very nice. Very nice. He's got 1 armor. Does he have weapons? Yes, he does. So he's about to be on 1-1 upgrades himself as far as ground melee units go. And here we've got 2-2 in the works for Headshot. He's got his upgrades in tow. I like that. But at 17 minutes in the game, you should have this saturated by far, and you should be working on a third. But as usual with these games with Headshot, after that drop, he's basically in the lead, so he doesn't need to fuck around with 3rd, 4th, and 5th expansions, because he just drops, makes a big old army, and just walks through the front door. Once that drop's successful, it's game over, man. He's the drop king right here. He's a boss. Headshot. We're having a moment of silence for Dram here, because it's not looking very good at all. Moment of silence. Because, well, we can see Headshot standing right here with this big old bio ball. I assuming he's just going to leave these tanks here just for some base security. Or at least a couple of them. But this push, if he decides to move out right now, it's just going to devastate Dram down here. Yeah, he's scanning, he's checking what he's got. Well, he's back up with his saturation. Let's look at his harvester. 28. Well, 28 to 53 is obviously pretty bad, but 28 on 35 now, it is more than enough to saturate his main and get a good amount of income off of this natural. But he also just doesn't have the army. Well, he could start producing it at this point. You know, he's got his macros starting to get back on track. He's just not going to be able to produce anything in time to defeat this Terran army. Just marching up right onto his creep. He can see it coming. He knows it's about to be game. I honestly don't know what he's thinking at this point. He's got, oh my god, what am I gonna do? I thought he was about to go expo hunt, but he saw the creep ended. Decided he didn't have to do that. The best thing he could do with that is probably make some banelings, but he doesn't have a nest, because those Zerglings are just gonna die so quickly. Terran Bioball marching into the natural of Dram, taking out that Queen like it was no tomorrow, and that natural is going to fall very quickly, and all those drones he spent all that time trying to get are all dead. And there's nothing he can do. He's burrowing his Zerglings. They're afraid. Too scared to engage with them. Taking out all kinds of overlords. Nearly supply blocking Dram. Sieging a tank down there. And pop his lings back up, but it's not going to work at all. Those lings just got mopped right up. Now, if that was a Baneling bomb, that could have been nice. But right now, it's just game. I'm waiting for a GG from Dram right now. Once again, that drop proved successful, even though he was semi-ready for it. Didn't get a good engagement on those Marauders as they were dropping down initially. But this is just not looking good for Dram at all. He's likely going to GG here soon. He's going to put headshot at a 1-0 lead. It's not no GG. He has no base. Oh JJ. Is he just running away? Going to try and build a base somewhere else? Hiding a drone, possibly, just being annoying. I'm looking around here. I think that's his only drone left. There's a GG. I think that's the first time I've ever seen SBKillerDram shout out a GG. That's a milestone for him. So congratulations on that, JJ. We're gonna move on to game 2, guys. So stay tuned. Thank you.